Hi, this is Jacob Haller, the host of Tell Me About Your Song, recording on a beautiful summer day in my apartment, so you might hear some background noise. In a recent episode, I talked to Adam Hogue and Jason Dolbec of the Adjuncts about one of their songs, and the actual original conversation was kind of freewheeling and wide-ranging, and we talked about some things that weren't really directly relevant to the song. And in fact, Adam had some questions for me about some of my songs, and I thought that some of you might find some of that stuff interesting, so I thought I would package it up and put it out as a bonus episode. So there's a few different sections of the interview that I'm going to include. In this first one, we basically talk about the experience of being in a band and figuring out how you get together a set of songs. Enjoy.
We practice every Monday, and he'll have about 2 or 3 new songs each time, and he'll want to play them and kind of push aside the old ones.
Yeah.
So I always have to say, that's not how bands really work. You usually play like an album for a long time, and then you introduce songs slowly. But I feel like when people come to see us, they're going to get new stuff, always. Mm-hmm. You know, every show there'll be something new.
In my first band, kind of as an adult, it was just me and one other guy, and we mostly did covers of, you know, our folk songs or whatever. But
Big Road Blues.
Yeah, exactly. So over like a few years, we accumulated 150 songs. Like there were 150 songs we could play. We didn't have them all memorized, but you know, we could do them. And then at some point, we decided to make the band electric, and so we found a drummer and a bass player, and I went into it with the same idea that, like, okay, in each practice we learn 2 new songs, and we just keep going that until, you know, we know 300 songs. And after I think 3 or 4 rehearsals, Chris, the other guy who'd been playing with me, sort of took me aside and was like, let me explain to you how bands usually work. You learn a bunch of songs and then you basically stop practicing for a while and you just play out. And I was like, oh, you just don't, interesting. Just had never occurred to me. Well, I don't know what the purpose of that story was, but, so.
I know.
Well, it has to do with what I was saying to him, like, you know.
We got it.
Okay, good. Message received.
It was more fun that way.
Yeah.
Learning new songs and.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just perfect a small group of songs if you really want to, but.
And actually tying it back into the one song.
Oh, yeah. In this next part of the discussion, Adam asked me about performing my song "Watching Killer Robots Eat Your Head," and it got me to reminiscing about memorable performances of various songs I've written.
Question for you, the host. What's your most memorable moment of playing Killer Robots Eat Your Head?
Oh, well, okay. Yes, good question.
Because that song's my favorite.
Okay. So, I was asked to guest host an open mic, I forget where exactly, but between here and Boston and Massachusetts someplace, at I think it was a Mexican place / bar. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was basically a bunch of people playing Johnny Cash songs, which I think from my set up at, you know, I'm not opposed to that. You are aware. But that's...
You give the people what they want.
Yeah, when you've learned 150 songs. You're like, oh yeah, I know 2 Johnny Cash songs. And, so I was at this place, and one of the songs I did was the song I wrote called "Codependent," which I forget if you've heard that one or not, but it's this country song sort of thing, and it's
I think I remember.
Yeah. Now some folks might call us codependent and say our reuniting's insane, but things ain't the same without you, my dear. Please come back and make me miserable again. So after I did that song, this guy was at the bar fairly drunk, and he says to me, I have a joke for you. I say, okay. He says, this guy and his friend are sitting in the bar. He says to his friend, you know, my wife hasn't talked to me in a week. And his friend says, well, what are you bragging about? So he may have identified with that song a little much. But but I was playing at this other place. Now that I think of it, this is at a completely different location and has nothing to do with that last story. But it was down in Narragansett, I think. I was playing at a bar, an open mic, and I did Killer Robots. I was on Interstate 95 just the other day, and I guess I was one of the people who was in your way, and you cut right in front of me without any sign, and I guess you're in a hurry, and brother, that's just fine, but now that I'm home and I've gone to bed, I have a strange vision running right through my head. I'm watching killer robots eating your head. And then afterwards, this guy's like, "Hey, I really like the song about the robots." I'm like, "Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that." He's like, "I could just picture the robot smashing her head," and I was like, you may have gotten some things out of the song that I did not put there. But let me tell you about my song. So the other one was I played. This was also in Narragansett, but it was at a much sort of fancier thing. It was in, I forget what it's called, but like if you drive down to Narragansett, there's like this big arch and there's a building over it, and it's right on the sea. And the Rhode Island Songwriters Association had booked the place.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I was one of the performers, and so they were like, I forget, there might have been like 8 of us, but maybe that seems like a lot. Maybe it was more like 6, but we were playing in the round. So there's just this row of songwriters. I was the first one to play in each round. So I play a song, everyone else plays a song, and it just goes down until we've done like 4 or 5 songs each, probably. So the first song I did was this song called You're the Tea in My Teacup. And the way that song goes is that the first verse, it seems fairly innocent. It's like, "You're the tea in my teacup, you're the beer in my glass, you're the whiskey in my coffee." And then the second verse goes, "You're the heroin in my needle, you're the cocaine on my spoon." And so I did that song, and that was like the opener. And I like doing, I have a couple songs that have big twists in them. And I like doing those first in a set, because then if no one's ever heard it before, it just is more likely to catch them completely off guard. So I did that, and it really did catch everyone completely off guard. And afterwards, you could just kind of feel the audience going like, "Who is this guy? What is his deal?" So then it goes down the row, and everyone else does their songs. Then it gets back to me, and I did Killer Robots. And then after that one, people are like, "That wasn't really reassuring." We go down the row, and then the third one, I forget, but I did one of my conventionally amusing songs.
Yeah.
And then people are like, "Okay, I think I get what this guy is doing now." Okay, so in this next segment, Adam asked Jason and me about, when we're starting to write a song, how we think about it. And this is going to be the last segment of the original interview that I'm going to include in this bonus episode. And it's also by far the sweariest. Like, I'm not kidding. I swear more in this than probably in any other episode or in all the other episodes of this podcast combined. So if you're in a room with kids or you don't like hearing that kind of language, I might stop here. Okay, let's get to it.
I guess if I'm thinking about your band, The Stilts.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess I'm curious. I would be curious with Jim too. When you're writing a song, and you too, you can join in. What's the first thing that you usually do? Like for me, it's very much like I'll put together a chordal structure, rhythm, or something, or have something that I like, and then fit words to it. What about you with The Stilts? Do you usually approach it with lyrics, or do you a lick. I know that like in high school you were very lick heavy.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of riffs.
you were a riff guy, and like we'd have a riff, and we'd make, a 10-minute song from a riff.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really good album called The Fridge by our high school band Floyd the Barber. It's available on Bandcamp.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
For
put
free.
it on there.
It's all almost 100% improvised.
Yeah. I'll
Go
play.
ahead.
As you know me.
Yep.
As you would say, I'm always noodling.
Mm-hmm.
Most
You're
of the time, that kind of goes nowhere. But eventually, sometimes I get something and I latch onto it. And then I'll usually sit with it for a while and then add lyrics. But it's pretty natural. There's not like it usually kind of happens, at the same time where I'm not. It kind of comes through me, for lack of better terms, where it's like I usually don't have to try too hard to think about it. And if I do, I usually don't end up liking that song as much. That's why there's a lot of rhyming, because rhyming's just easy to get the flow out of out there. But yeah, mostly play first, then lyrics. Sometimes just the same time. But I find that lyrics don't really come to me when I'm playing the drums now. So
Yeah, right.
But how about you?
I mean, I think for me, it's pretty much always like a concept first, like that codependent song that I was talking about. Like the idea was there. I wanted to write a country song where kind of the idea of it was that the singer has broken up with this woman, or who knows, genders are not specified in this song, I don't think. And his life has gotten like 100% better, but he can't stand it and he wants her back.
Yeah.
Like, so that was the concept of that song, and then it all kind of flowed from that. Stale Tequila, which is everyone that says, do the song about the stolen kidney. And I'm like, you just gave it away.
Yeah.
Then I awoke in a bathtub full of ice. You left a note. I had to read it twice. It said, call 911. I stole your kidney, thanks for the fun. I felt myself start to fall apart. Well, I know you took my kidney, but you also stole my heart. And I woke up. That was the one where the theme was assigned. Like Stale Tequila was. I had to write a song.
I remember you saying that was for one of
Tequila.
those songwriter circles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the idea I got was, that it's that old urban legend about the guy whose kidney gets stolen, and then I'm a little bit addicted to putting twists into songs, as you may have noticed. But
You're like the
kind
M.
of the
Night
twist there.
Shyamalan of...
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first song was the best one, and after that, they've gotten successively more disappointing.
But what a twist.
Oh, man.
What a twist in that first song.
Yeah. But the last song of my career will be so great. It will be its own little twist ending, and it all. So then the idea there is, that happens, but he's still in love with, he. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in my songs now that I think about it. And then Killer Robots. Actually, Killer Robots originally had a kind of a different concept. I mean, I wrote an entire song, and then I had to throw away most of it except for the chorus. Because originally it was like a song. It was between two lovers, I guess. But it was just so creepy. Just was no way. There was just nothing. There was just no way. It was not enjoyable to play or to listen to. And so I was like, okay, well, we'll get rid of all that stuff, and let's, and then it was just like sort of thinking about situations, because in the original song, the idea was that he was like trying to figure out, like, why do I keep having these weird visions when it's so creepy? No, bad. And so then I was like, okay, well, where are just some situations where you would probably have that kind of vision, and that was a little easier to
road
come
rage,
up with something.
road rage scenario.
Right, road rage, and then meetings. Everyone's been in one of those meetings, or not. A lot of people have. A lot of teachers find that song very relatable. I have
Yeah.
found. And then, so anyway, so the concept tends to come first, and then the lyrics, and then I usually set it to music last. Like, I often
that's interesting.
I often kind of have a tune in mind when I'm writing it, but then I am often concerned that I've accidentally stolen the melody or whatever from someplace else, and it's not original at all, and then I have to, like, screw things around, change the chords around or something, so that I'm like, okay, well, this time I've completely screwed everything up, so I'm pretty sure that this is original.
Yeah.
Even, but, my guitar playing, I used to say it wasn't very good, and then people would yell at me, but it's kind of rudimentary in some ways. There's kind of one rhythm to it that I tend to go back to. And
It serves you serve the lyrics first, I think.
Yeah.
It works perfect with, the songs that you're writing.
Yeah, and the rhyming thing, I mean, my songs always used to rhyme, and they still mostly do. But at some point, a friend of mine wrote she wrote one song and then stopped. It was like the greatest song in the world. Let's see.
That little Martin's always in tune.
So it was after she was dumped by this guy, and the song goes, "You're a cock-sucking son of a bitch, a cock-sucking son of a bitch." And the verses are like, let's see. You threw your threw your bags into the back of your Focus, you cocksucking son of a bitch. You drove out west to Oregon to live with your mother. You cocksucking son of a bitch. And I love this song, as you can tell. And then only after I listened to it a bunch of times did I realize that none of the lines rhymed. Like, there were just no rhymes in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it turns out a really great song does not actually have to rhyme. And so after that,
that's true.
So after that, I stopped worrying. Like, I still normally try to rhyme most of the time, but every once in a while, it's like, it just works better.
If you have like the vocal melody is there, or like that, even just that kind of like with the chords and what you're singing, it doesn't have to rhyme. It just flows into each line anyway.
And I mean, talking about concept-based songs, like the concept in that song is so strong.
Yes, yeah.
And something that everyone has thought at one time or another.
Yes.
But like the chorus to Stale Tequila used to be twice as long, and it used to rhyme. And then at some point I was like, the chorus is not what the song is about, and you're just, all the time that you're listening to it, you're just like, why am I listening to this part of the song? Which is the chorus, like, then I woke up, the taste of stale tequila in my mouth. I looked around, I was all alone. How could you do it? You were so beautiful. Like that doesn't have to be twice as long just so that it can rhyme.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Well.
Yeah.
Great podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. I should say that cocksucking son of a bitch song was actually co-written by two of my friends, and that you can find them on MySpace as Dirty Folk. D-U with an umlaut, R-T-Y folk. I'll also link to it in the show notes, etc. But that's about it. That's the end of this bonus episode. Thanks again to Adam and Jason of the Adjuncts for talking to me. And thanks for listening. And I guess I'll put one of my songs at the end of this, one of the songs we talked about. You're the Tea in My Teacup. So enjoy that. And I'll be back with a non-bonus episode soon. Bye. You're the tea in my teacup. You're the beer in my glass. You're the whiskey in my coffee. I know that we're gonna last. I know we're sure gonna last. baby. You just smooth all my troubles away. You become quite a habit to me. I want you more each and every day. You're the heroin in my needle. You're the cocaine on my spoon. You make me so high, I feel like I could fly. You got me howling at the moon. You got me howling at the moon. And I can't live without you, baby. You just smooth all my troubles away. You become quite a habit to me. I want you more each and every day. In my crack pipe, you're the monkey on my back. You know how much I need you, so please won't you take me back. Oh, please won't you take me back. 'Cause I can't live without you, baby. You're just smooth all my troubles away. You become quite a habit to me. I want you more each and every day. I need you more each and every